Well, what's on the television today?
Protesters calling this letter here nothing more than a bribe, saying they won't be taking these tents down behind me until all of their demands are met. And tonight they have a new demand, saying they want the charges dropped for the more than 40 people who were arrested here.
Zionists don't deserve to live.
Kamani James is one of the student organizers of Columbia's encampment and has been negotiating with school leaders. But a resurfaced live stream they posted earlier this year shows James using disturbing language.
Look at the scene right now. There are several dozen people gathered here, again, with signs. Things have not yet gotten started. We're told it was supposed to kick off at 4 o'clock, so we're several minutes behind here. But
there's a horrible war going on that was brought on by the attacks of October 7th. We had a ceasefire on October 6th. There can be a ceasefire again if they can just return the hostages. But these young people that are so idealistic, that are just looking for a cause. They want to be, a past generation, that was fighting for civil rights in the United States, what their parents or grandparents were doing on campuses. And they're just so sadly mistaken.
So, if there's one thing these college student protesters have accomplished, it's proving Joe Biden correct. When in the beginning of his presidency, and even just prior to him winning, he was like, yo, I'm gonna be the one to unite this country. And unite he did, with both sides, both the people who voted for him 3.5 years ago and the people who voted for Donald Trump or simply did not vote for Biden. Both those groups are now united against him. So yeah, look who's laughing now. But in all seriousness, we know this is about Gaza, so let's talk about Gaza. Now, there are currently 1.4 million Gazans who are without a house, without some sort of shelter other than tent encampments. So while some are returning to their homes, most still aren't able to. That sucks. That sucks. For the Gazans out there who, if interviewed without any sort of, without a gun to their head and interviewed transparently, honestly, if they said, well, I still support what Hamas did 6.5 months ago on October 7th, I don't really feel bad for those people particularly. However, those who are caught up in all of this chaos and either curse Hamas or condemn them in some sort of fashion, or simply just have never wanted any part in any of this nonsense, and maybe they voted for Hamas 18 years ago when they didn't know any better, etc. Okay, I feel horrible for those people. Everyone's caught up in this mess, whatever side you're on, and it sucks. Now, all college students are accomplishing is putting a spotlight on themselves and not really on what's going on in the Middle East. If they wanted to affect some sort of change, they would do something different. In fact, if they really wanted to do something at all, they would probably travel directly to the region to call on Netanyahu to do something. I mean, do something there. I don't see how, even if you accomplished your goal of divestment, even if you got the school to divest up to $1 million from these companies that you're calling on them to divest from, even if they accomplish that, it's not going to do anything. This is a fraction of what would have to occur for Netanyahu to say, okay, come back now. We're not going to invade Rafah. Enough. We're done. The notion that anyone thinks that is going to affect some sort of change from a 75-year-old man who cares nothing about, really about helping American college students. I mean, he's just trying to stay out of jail and stay in power as long as he can, and then get as much support around him as possible, especially from the Israeli public, so they can finally finish the war in Gaza. But okay, sure, divest from Starbucks or Google or whatever. Like, here's the end result. So, like, I think you're smart enough, or I would at least hope you're smart enough to understand how this stuff works. Besides getting some likes on your TikTok page or whatever, you're gonna get arrested and escorted and now fired from your job, like at Google. This is what happened. This is just what happened recently in Silicon Valley, California, is that Google employees who were staging some sort of protest, the law enforcement came, they escorted them off the premises, and they don't have their jobs at Google anymore. So, like, if this is a math equation, you do understand there's no way out of 2 + 2 = 4. And if your answer is 2 + 2 = 5 or anything else, then you're going to have to start a new country on Jupiter and formulate some sort of mathematical equation where 2 + 2 can actually equal 5. But until that happens, you're not doing anything other than shooting yourselves in the foot. And so that's just my 2 cents. I know it doesn't really matter, and it'll fall on deaf ears, or it won't reach the people who I'd like to reach. But trust me, y'all, I was there. I did all this shit. Like, trust me, like, you are in a losing war. So if you care about your education, or if you care about your future jobs, just stop participating in it. It's really simple. You know, it's not very difficult. Just do things that are more productive. You know, find better hobbies. When I was in college, I went hiking. That was something I loved to do. I was also very close to a lot of hiking trails. But, you know, if you're in a place that's like close to a beach or close to hiking or like other things that you could do, figure out other ways that you can come together and actually like do some fun and effective activities with other students, and try to meet other students that you disagree with ideologically or who have different backgrounds from you. Like, try to actually reach out to people who, if you believe that Israel is an apartheid state, well, then reach out to someone who believes the opposite, that Israel is not an apartheid state. But I know it's very difficult for you to do that because you want to claim that you're so pro-justice or pro-diversity, and as soon as it comes to somebody, you know, insulting your opinion, then, you know, God forbid they're allowed into your group. So just, you know, spend some time reflecting on this, and I don't know, if your mind is still made up and you haven't really, you know, transformed any level of thinking, then ultimately I don't know what the answer is other than I feel badly for you and wish you all the best in your life.